Okay, greetings to everyone. Today we will be talking about the measures of central tendency, which is also known as the mean, median, and mode. But before we proceed to our discussion, let me give you first the lesson objectives. So at the end of this lesson, you should be able to first is to determine the use of three measures of central tendency, which is the mean, median, and mode. Second is to solve for mean, median, and mode for group and ungrouped data, and then solve problems involving measures of central tendency. Okay, so let's proceed to the discussion. So measures of central tendency is the most appropriate measures found to be useful in describing a distribution of observations. Okay, so this also measures of central tendency also refers to the center of a distribution of observations. Okay, so this is also a value which gives summary of the characteristics of a given set of data. Okay, so let's proceed with the computation of mean, median, and mode from ungrouped data. Okay, so let's start with the simple mean, or simply as the mean. So the mean, or also known as the average, is one number that is representative of the data. You can find the mean by adding all the data and then dividing the sum by the number of addends. Okay, so simply use the formula where we have x bar, which represent the means, and then we have the summation of x. So x represent the items or the scores or the collected data from your observations, and the last one is n, which is the number of items. So let us take a look at this example. So what is the mean score of 10 statistics students in their midterm examination if their scores are as follows? So we have the data 46, 44, 40, 41, 45, 32, 38, 40, 49, and 36. Okay, so we have 10 datas, or we have 10 data or 10 scores from the statistics students. So let us find the mean. So just follow the formula. So x bar is equal to the summation of x divided by n, where we have 46 plus 44 plus 40 plus 41 plus 45 plus 32 plus 38 plus 40 plus 49 plus 46, and then divide it by the number of data, which is 10. So therefore, we will be having 411 divided by 10, or the mean would be 41.1 or 41.10. So that is the way on how we can obtain the average or the mean of a certain group or set of data. Okay, so let us proceed with median. So when we say median, it is the middle number or middle value when the data are arranged in order. Okay, so let us again have the example earlier. So we have these data. So before we get the mean, okay, so we must first arrange this data in order, or whether it is from highest to lowest or from lowest to highest. So in this case, I've arranged the data from lowest to highest. So when we say median, it is the middle number or middle value. As you can see, so we have 10 data or 10 scores. So therefore, the middle value would be 41, 40 and 41. So, but we can only have one value for the median. So therefore, we can have the median by adding 40 and 41 divided by 2. Okay, so that would be 81 divided over 2, or simply as 40.5. So the median therefore would be 40.5. So let us take a look to this another example. So let's say we remove one of the scores from the students. So we only have 9 data or 9 scores. So therefore, we can easily determine the middle value. Okay, so we have the median as 40. Okay, so remember, pag ang data natin ay even number, so meron tayong dalawang middle value. Para makuha natin ang median, so we can just simply add them and then divide it by 2. And then if ang ating data naman ay odd number, so we can easily determine or identify the middle value, which is just like this example, which is we have 40. Okay, so let's proceed to the last one. So we have mode. So the mode is the number that occurs most often in a set of data. There may be one mode, more than one mode, or no mode. Okay, so let us have again the earlier. So we can also arrange the data from lowest to highest or from highest to lowest. Okay, so for us to easily determine the data that occurs most often. So in this case, so we have 40, we have the data or the score of 40 occurs twice more than the other data. Okay, or more than the other scores. Okay, so therefore 40 will be our mode. Okay, so when the mode is only one, so we can say that is unimodal. Okay, so let us take another example. What if we have this case? So we have 32 and 40. Okay, so pipiliin ba natin kung alin ang magiging mode? Or pwedeng sila parehas ang mode? Okay, so mode here will be 32 and 40. So hindi tayo pipili ng isa lang na value para maging representative ng mode. So therefore, we have 32 and 40. So this is called bimodal. Meron tayong dalawang mode. What if we have this example? So we have 32, 40, and 46. So therefore, they will be the representative or the value of mode 32, 40, and 46, which is also known as multimodal. Okay? So and then if ganito po yung scenario. So we have 32 and 40, which occurs twice, but 46 occurs thrice. So therefore, our mode will be 46. Okay? So alin lang po yung data na may pinakamaraming occurrences. So therefore, 46 will be our mode, and this is again unimodal. What if this case? So we don't have any value that occurs twice, thrice, or more than the other data. So therefore, there will be no mode. Okay, so that will be the computation of the mean, median, and mode from ungrouped data. So now let's proceed with the computation of mean, median, and mode from grouped data. Okay, so let's start with the mean. Steps in computing the mean of grouped data. So first is to calculate the midpoint or class marks of all class intervals. And then we have the second step, multiply each class mark by their corresponding frequency. Add the products of each in step number 2. And then last one is to divide the sum by the total number of cases to obtain the mean. Okay, so therefore, so let's have this example. So we have the formula to use in computing the mean from group data. So we have again X bar, which represents the mean. So F will be the class frequency. We have X as the class mark or the midpoint. And then we have N as the number of cases. So let us have this example. So we already have a frequency distribution table where we have these classes. So we have 8 classes. So 51 to 55, 56 to 60, 61 to 65, 66 to 70, 71 to 75, 76 to 80, 81 to 85, 86 to 90 with their corresponding frequency. So again, in computing the mean for group data, okay, so we must first calculate the midpoint of the class mark, which is represented by the variable x. Okay, so complete the third column by adding the adding the lower limit and the higher limit of the class interval. So for example, we have 51 to 55. So therefore, we have 51 plus 55 and then divide it by 2. So therefore, our class marks will be as follows. So we have 51 to 55, or 51 plus 55 divided by 2, that would be 53. 56 plus 60, that is divided by 2, will be 58. 61 plus 65 divided by 2, that would be 63, and so on and so forth until we have the last value of the column for the class marks, which is 88. Okay, so after identifying all the class marks for each classes, so next thing to do is to multiply the class frequency with its corresponding class marks. Okay, so we have first is to multiply 4 times 53, which will result to the following. So we have 4 times 53, that would be 212. 3 times 58, that will be 174. 4 times 252. 10 divided 10 times 68, that would be 680, and so on and so forth until we reach 8 times 88, that would be equal to 704. So the next thing to do is to add the products of each in step number 2, or add the data on the last column. So 212 plus 174 plus 252 plus 680 plus 657 plus 546 plus 415, and then plus 704. Therefore, we will be having 3,640 as the summation of f times x. Okay, so after completing the frequency distribution table, so let us follow the given formula. So we have the solution, which is we have the mean is equal to the summation of f times x divided by n. So therefore, we will be having 3,640 divided by n, which is the total number of observations. So therefore, the value of mean would be 72.80. Okay, so that will be the way on how to solve for the mean of group data. Okay, so now let's proceed with the median. Okay, so median is also known as the middle value of a certain group of data. So here are the steps in computing the median of group data. Okay, so number 1 is to determine the median class by dividing n by 2. Okay, so the median class is equal to the n divided by 2, or the total number of cases divided by 2. Second step is to construct the less than cumulative frequency column in the table. And then we have to locate the median class in the cumulative frequency to determine the median class, or the n over 2. Okay, and then the fourth one is to get the lower boundary of the median class. The fifth step is to from the computed n, subtract the less than cumulative frequency before the median class. And then number 6, we have to divide the difference by the frequency of the median class, then multiply the quotient by the class size, which is represented by small letter I, and then add the obtained value in step number 6 to the lower boundary of the median class. Okay, so mas madali natin ito maintindihan by following a certain table and the corresponding or the appropriate formula for median of group data. Okay, so let us take this formula. So this will be the formula to be used in computing for the median of group data. We have, okay, so the median symbol, which is read as tilde x, and then we have x sub LB, or the lower boundary of the median class. We have less than CF, or less than cumulative frequency, which will be the cumulative frequency before the median class. And then we have FM, or the frequency of the median class. And then we have N as the number of cases, and then I as the class size. Okay, so in this case, So let's have the same example we used in computing the mean for group data. So we also have, we again have the 51 to 55, 56 to 860, and then until 86 to 90 with their corresponding frequency and the total number of observation, which is 50. Okay, so first thing to do is to determine the median class. But before we determine the median class, so let us first construct the less than cumulative frequency table. Okay, so alam na naman po natin kung paano gawin si less than cumulative frequency. So since ang ating classes ay naka-arrange from lowest on the top and then highest scores on the bottom, so 51 to 55 hanggang 86 to 90. So magsisimula tayo dun sa pinakang ibaba. Okay, so starting from 50 as the total number of observation. So we have 50 minus 8, that would be 42. Minus 5, that would be 37. Minus 7, that would be 30. Minus 9, that would be 21. Minus 10, that would be 11. Minus 4, that would be 7. Minus 3, that would be 4. Okay, so dapat yung ating value sa taas ay parehas na 4. Okay, so after constructing the less than cumulative frequency table, so we can now identify the median class, that is by dividing n over 2, which is 50 divided by 2, where we will be having the median class or the computed median class to be as 25. Okay, so let us locate 25 on our less than cumulative frequency table. Okay, so para po ma-identify natin yung median class, so we have 25. Saan ba pinakamalapit si 25? Okay, so malapit siya sa 21. Okay, so pero hindi natin pwedeng i-consider si 66 to 70 as our median class kasi yung computed value natin is 25, which is higher than 21. Okay, so therefore, proceed tayo doon sa next, which is 71 to 75 with the corresponding frequency as 9 and then less than cumulative frequency as 30. Okay, so dapat yung computed median class natin ay in between of two values, wherein ang pipilian natin ay yung mas malaki dun sa or yung greater than dun sa computed value na 25, which is 30. So therefore, the median class would be 71 to 75. So after identifying the median class, okay, so we need to locate or we'll be getting the lower boundary of the median class. So ano ba yung tinatawag nating lower boundary again? So lower boundary refers to the lower boundary of the lower limit. So yung median class natin is 71 to 75. So ang lower limit natin dyan ay yung 71, ang higher limit natin ay 75. So ang kailangan natin ay lower boundary. So therefore, ang kukunin natin ay yung lower limit or lower boundary ng lower limit, which is 71. So paano kunin ang lower boundary? So that is tilde x sub LB would be equal to 71 minus 0.5. Ganun lang po, pagkuha ng lower boundary. So, the lower boundary, therefore, will be 70.5. Okay? So, after identifying the lower boundary of the median class, we can now proceed to the formula by substituting all the given values. So, we have earlier, okay, so n. Okay, so yung ating lower boundary of the median class, na-calculate natin as 70.5. So, n, we have the value of n as 50 divided by 2. And then we have the less than cumulative frequency. So, yung less than CF natin dito ay yung less than cumulative frequency before the median class. So, ang median class natin is 71 to 75 na may less than cumulative frequency na 30. So, ang sabi natin, it should be before. So, ang before natin hindi yung 37, which is dapat ay yung 21. Okay, so bakit naging 21? Kasi before, mas maliit yung 66 to 70 na class. So therefore, ayun yung before. Okay, so 21 would be the less than cumulative frequency before the median class. And then we have Fm as the frequency of the median class. So our median class is this. So the frequency of the median class is 9. And then we have I, which is equal to 5. So paano natin nakuha yung class size na 5? So pwede natin bilangin yan 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. So 5. Sa isang class, meron tayong 5 data. Okay, so also we have 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. That is still 5. So therefore, the value of I is 5. Okay, so para makuha natin yung median, okay, so mag-start tayo dito. 50 divided by 2. Unahin natin yung nasa loob ng bracket. Okay, sundin natin yung PEMDAS. So 50 divided by 2. After that, press equals, and then minus 21, press equals, and then divide it by 9, press equals, and then multiply it by 5, and then press equals, and then finally add 70.5, which will result to 72.72. Okay, so tandaan natin yung ating mean, median, and mode, whether it is group or ungrouped data, so kailangan ang ating decimal places ay laging 2. So hanggang hundreds lang. Okay, so 2 decimal places lagi sa final answer. Okay, so again, so 50 divided by 2, press equals, minus 21, press equals, then divide it by 9, press equals, and then multiply it by 5, press equals, and then 5, and then press equals, which will lead us to 72.72 as the value of the median. Okay? Okay, so next would be the mode. Okay, so again, mode is the data with the most number of occurrences. Okay, so here are the steps in computing the mode of group data. So first thing to do is to determine the modal class. So the modal class has the highest frequency in the distribution. Okay, so and then again, second is to get the lower boundary of the modal class. Okay, and then the third one is to determine the change of value 1 and change of value of 2, or also known as delta 1 and delta 2, and then divide delta 1 to the sum of delta 1 and delta 2. So, mas maintindihan natin yan pag nakita natin yung formula later on. Number 4, multiply the result obtained in step number 3 by the class size. And then lastly is to add the answer in number 4 by the lower boundary of the modal class. Okay, so this will be the formula to use in computing for the mode of group data. So we have tilde x, or rather the caret x, which will represent the mode. And then we have the caret x sub LB, which will be the lower boundary of the modal class. And then we have delta 1, it will be the difference of the highest frequency and the frequency just below it. And then we have delta 2, the difference of the highest frequency and the frequency just above it. Okay, so we all know I will be the class size. Okay, so let us take again the same example earlier. So first thing to do is to identify the modal class. So pag sinabi nating modal class, so di ba pag sinabi nating mode, it has the most number of occurrences. So the only thing to do is to find the class with the most number of frequency. So therefore, the modal class is 66 to 70. Siya yung may pinakamataas na value ng frequency. And then we have the lower boundary of the modal class, that would be 66 minus 0.5, which lead us to 65.5. Okay, so and then use the find the delta 1 and delta 2. So again, so delta 1 is the difference, okay, of the highest frequency and the frequency just below it. So delta 1 is 10 minus 4. Okay, so 10 minus 4, which will be equal to 6. So therefore, delta 1 would be equal to 6. And then we have delta 2, which is the difference of the highest frequency and the frequency just above it. So 10 minus 9, that would be 1. So hindi pag sinabi natin just below it, nasa ilalim nung class, nung highest frequency. Pag sinabi natin just below it, so kailangan na doon sa mas mababang class. So yung ating modal class ay 66 to 70. So mas mababa ang 61 to 65. So therefore, that is the class below the modal class. And then 71 to 75 will be the class above the modal class. So ganun po ang pagkuha natin ng delta 1 and delta 2. And then after that, use the obtained value in using the given formula for the mode. So we have 65.5 as the value of lower boundary of the modal class. So earlier we obtained delta 1 as 6, delta 1 as 6 plus delta 2 as 1, and then the class size would still be 5. Okay, so just like the same process in computing the mean, so start dun sa bracket. So 6 divided by 7, so I already added 6 and 1. So 6 divided by 7, press equals, multiply it by 5, press equals, and then add 65.5, and then press equals, and then we will be having 69.79 as the value of our mode. Okay, so again, 6 divided by 7 equals, multiply it by 5 equals, and then finally add 65.5 and then press equals. So the mode would be 69.75. Okay, so therefore, so the mean, median, and mode of the group data, of this group data or the set of data, would be 72.80 for the value of mean. We have 72.72 as the value of the median, and then 69.79 as the value of our mode. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. So if you have any questions, so you may message me. Kung may naguguluhan kayo sa pagko-compute, pwede kayong mag-message sa akin through my Facebook Messenger account. Okay, so here is my reference. So I used the book by Roc-Narag, Edlyn, Castillo, Basic Statistics with Calculator and Computer Application, from Rex Bookstore Incorporated. So this is my reference. Okay, so again, thank you very much for listening. Okay, so